but until I'm able to make my full-time income from YouTube, I don't have the time to do the blog too.
Okay, we'll be right back after these messages with more of the beautiful, wonderful Wonderhussy.
And now a word from our sponsors.
People are waking up. They're standing up to those pushing pesticides and GMOs as safe alternatives for a starving world. What a bunch of crap. I tell you, I'd rather eat dirt. So I drink Life Change Tea. It's an herbal drink, cleansing my body of toxic sludge and nasty chemicals, and of course, ridding the intruders that are hidden in my so-called food. And by the way, Life Change Tea is non-GMO and organic. No fillers, no yuck. Just a great defense against you-know-what. May the supplement force awaken you. Don't fall to the dark side. Sorry. I went to the movies last night. Anyway, enough said. How do you get that herbal drink and change your life? GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. You will awaken. You will get stronger, and you might even lose a bit of weight. So awaken to Life Change Tea and the many one-of-a-kind supplements at GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. May the supplement force be with you.
The Opperman Report is brought to you by SubhashTechnosis.com. Subash Technosis is a search engine optimization and website design company located in India. So you know you're going to save a lot of money and get top quality service to boot. They offer all kinds of services, business process outsourcing, data entry, banking BPO services, recruitment process outsourcing, software testing, offshore research networking, customer care, press release content writing and distribution, and much, much more. They offer website development, e-commerce solutions, mobile responsive designs. Now, I've personally worked with Subhash for over 10 years. This is the man that puts out my press releases. They've done work on my websites, so I can personally recommend SubhashTechnosis.com. You can find the link to Subhash Technosis at OppermanReport.com and also AwakeRadio.us. You can have your ad played here at OppermanReport.com every Friday night, 5 p.m., and Saturday night, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And on Friday nights, too, we do a live portion for 1 hour that I just do a live monologue. The ads are very, very inexpensive, and they're also played in the Opperman Report member section. In the member section, you can find all kinds of exclusive content that you won't find anywhere else. It's as cheap as $6 a month, $20 a quarter, or $75 for a year. If you contact me directly at oppermanreport@gmail.com, I'll set you up with a little special deal there where you get a discount if you PayPal me directly, and you even get a copy of my book. I want to thank Sean Duff from strawmanmusic.com. He's an excellent musician. And I also want to thank William Ramsey, who helps us produce the show and book guests. You can find William Ramsey, who's an excellent author, at William Ramsey Investigates on YouTube.
Okay, welcome back to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, Private Investigator Ed Opperman. We're here with the beautiful Sarah Jane Woodhall, Wonderhussy Adventures, Wonderhussy.com. Sarah Jane Woodhall, recently I noticed you took a trip out there to the Salton Sea.
Oh, yeah, I love it out there.
Yeah, I've never been there. So why don't you describe your little adventure out there?
Okay, so the Salton Sea, if people don't know, at one time it was the largest freshwater lake west of the Mississippi. It's kind of like this big dry lake bed that over the millennia will periodically fill up with water and then dry up and fill up and dry up. Well, in its most recent incarnation, it filled up accidentally when the Colorado River canal down there flooded, because they used the Colorado River to irrigate the fields down there. Well, one of their canals flooded back around like 1920 and filled this lake up again, this dry lake that's supposed to be dry. And now it's only fed, because there's no natural streams feeding it, it's only fed by runoff from these agricultural fields in the area. So the water is very, I guess, salty and full of minerals from the agricultural runoff, so much so that the fish in it can't really live well. They die off periodically because of these giant algae blooms. So all the toxic stump that smells like rotting fish. But the sad thing is, not long, I would say maybe in the 50s or 60s, it was a beautiful lake. So there was all kind of development built around it, little towns and resorts, motels, and people sunk their life savings into homes there. And once the lake turned sour and toxic and the fish started dying, they were stuck living there, some of them. So you drive around it now, and most of the homes are abandoned. Most of the businesses, motels are abandoned. But, every sixth or seventh house, there's someone hanging in, trying to make a life there because they can't afford to move. It's really kind of sad.
Yeah, and aren't a lot of those houses like meth houses? Like they're cooking meth in there?
That's the common perception, but I don't think that's the case. I mean, I didn't see anything like that. To me, it strikes me as just hard scrabble life, people who are getting by on Social Security or something like that, just trying to get by. I didn't really get a big criminal vibe from it. Now, where I was, I didn't camp right on the Salton Sea. I camped about a half an hour inland from there at a place called Slab City,
right,
which is the biggest squatters encampment in the United States. And over there, people have been squatting for decades in some cases, and I think there's some criminal activity out there. But again, my experience, I really didn't run into anybody shady. I had a wonderful time at Slab City too. So I feel like the media blows that stuff out of proportion, but I also feel like maybe the residents kind of have a hand in it because they want to keep people away. So it's in their interest to make people think that it's a dangerous place. I'm not sure.
Yeah, one of the things you highlighted, there's a lot of big art projects out there, right?
Oh, yeah, a lot of artists have moved out there because, it's free or cheap to live, and they've built some really interesting stuff because, especially in Slab City, there's so much garbage left behind from decades of people squatting there that there's just junk everywhere. And so these hippie artists come out and kind of sift through the junk and find these odds and ends, bicycle chains and railroad ties and old coffee makers and whatever, and they make this bizarre found object art that in some cases is like pretty large scale. It's really neat.
Yeah, and that's on your video called Slab City, right?
Yeah, I think it's called Camping at Slab City for New Year's Eve.
That's right.
Really an interesting experience. That place is a trip.
Yeah, I tell you, so many people are so jealous of your lifestyle because you get to go on all these adventures and.
Well, I mean, part of it is I live very frugally. I don't live lavishly by any means, and I'm sleeping in the back of my car in a squatter's encampment. I mean, if you're jealous of that, then good for you.
That's right. Well, a lot of people are jealous, okay? And you got that really cool Forerunner now. How's that working out? You be able to camp out a lot better now?
It's great. Yes, yeah. I love it. I sleep in the back of it, and it'll go anywhere. It's four-wheel drive, really rugged vehicle.
Yeah, I just got this Lexus hybrid, and the back seats go down.
Nice.
Yeah, I can camp in that, and it's really cool. So I'm looking forward to going.
Well, and you probably get much better gas mileage than I do. I only get like 17 miles per gallon.
Yeah, it's pretty good gas mileage. It's a 2006, but it runs like a dream. This thing, it runs so good, man. I'm so happy with this car. You have no idea. Okay.
Nice.
Now, what are the most fun places you've been to? I know you did a whole show about your trip up to a Barker Ranch up there with the Manson family, but like the most fun trip you've taken.
Well, they're all fun in their own way. I mean, recently I went to a place called the Hard Luck Castle. That is,
right.
If people are familiar with Scotty's Castle in Death Valley, it's kind of in that same area, but it's outside of Death Valley. In fact, it's in Nevada, in this really remote valley. This kooky guy, just decided he wanted to build his own castle and live out there off the grid. So he did. By golly, he built this giant, I don't know how many 1,000-square-foot castle, built it by hand out of steel and concrete, and it's completely off the grid, powered by solar and wind. And he lives out there, and he built this friggin' thing, this giant castle, specifically to house a pipe organ. He has a $500,000 theatrical pipe organ like you would see in one of those old movie theaters or a church. And so he sits in this castle in the middle of nowhere and plays this pipe organ. It's a trip.
Okay, now how'd you find him? He found you or you found him?
He actually, I knew about it for a while. It's a tourist site. You can go tour the castle. Anybody who wants to can drive up there. And I definitely encourage listeners, if you're into some weird desert stuff, check this place out. He asks for a $10 donation for a tour, so it's totally reasonable. He is a nice man, and it's a fascinating place. So it had been on my radar for a while, but I just didn't get around to going out there until he emailed me personally. He watches my YouTube channel. And he goes, hey, if you like weird stuff in the desert, you should come check out my place. And so I went out there. We became friends. I've been out there a couple times now to stay with him. Just a wonderful man.
Yeah, I got to tell you, man, your YouTube channel and your Facebook community, it's a cool group of people. They're all very, it's a cool group, artists and.
Well, not all of them. I'm in Facebook jail right now for 30 days because somebody ratted me out.
Yeah, what happened there? Because you take a lot of effort to put little blocks up, against your cooch or your whatever, these pictures. What happened?
No, I understand that Facebook has, they have their policies and their terms, so I try my best not to violate them. It was an honest mistake. I was sharing a link for there's a photography workshop coming up in Death Valley with a photographer and a bunch of models. So he asked me if I could help him recruit models. He said photographers, excuse me. He said he would pay me $100 for each photographer I recruited to sign up for this workshop. So, okay, I'll share it on my Facebook page. I have a lot of photographer friends. So I shared the link, and I didn't realize that by sharing the link, a thumbnail would appear with a topless woman in it. And within the hour, I was suspended from Facebook for 30 days.
So you got some lurkers that are jealous of the great Sarah Jane Woodall Wonderhussy.
Well, it's either that, or I also feel like Facebook might be getting more aggressive with. I think they have an algorithm that just kind of scans posts for objectionable content. It might not even be a live person, because there's a lot of talk in the media lately about Facebook is destroying the fabric of society. I feel like they're really overly sensitive right now, and so they're trying to censor anything that might be objectionable. And so they're just overactive in that area. I'm not sure it was one of my people who ratted me out. It could have just been their algorithm.
No, well, I can tell you this. That one of the things that came out in this big controversy about the Russians behind Facebook and bots and trolls, and we just did a big show about it, is that they can't, if you post a meme, their bots can't see what's written on that meme. They can't see what's written on that picture. Yeah. And I worked with these guys at Paraben Digital Forensics. And they had a tool that you could. It was like a little thumb drive that you could plug into a computer to locate porn on a computer, and it was very unreliable. I hate to say it because they're great guys over there, but it would look for mass body parts of all beige skin, and how much was shown or not shown. It was very unreliable.
Oh wow, that's interesting. Oh, yeah. I have a flesh-colored bodysuit. I'd be interested in challenging that with.
See, that's what I love about you. Now, let me ask you that. Since we're talking about all of this, a lot of people are having trouble with YouTube, cutting back on our commissions on YouTube and our AdSense. Are you not having any problems with that? It's still growing?
Oh, I am. I mean, I'm still growing, but my problem has been that, again, they're just being, because they had their problem with advertisers pulling their money from YouTube because of their ads were showing up on hate videos and stuff like that. So now you have to be super, super careful of what tags you put in your video, what language you use in the description. If you use any words that are even slightly offensive, they mark it as ineligible for monetization, and then you can't make money off it. Example, I did a video at this really cool little ghost town outside Vegas that was totally a G-rated video. It's just me walking around this ghost town looking at old cars. But in the description, I called the video, Ghost Town, 45 minutes from Vegas Strip. Well, I think the word strip triggered their censorship algorithm, so they flagged my video as ineligible to be monetized. Like, what the heck? It's a totally G-rated video. Well, then I got wise, figured it out. I removed the word strip from the description, and it was fine after that. So what I do now is every time I finish editing a video, I upload it unlisted first, which means no one knows that I've uploaded it. And then I let it sit for a day or two just to see if anything triggers the censorship algorithm. And if it's green light, then I'll go ahead and make it public. But if there's an issue with it, then I have to go in and find what that issue is and fix it before I make it public. Because once I make it public, the first 2 days of me making my video public is when I get all my hits and when I make all my money. So I don't want to waste any of that time with it being demonetized. You know what I mean? So it's a one extra step. It's kind of a hassle, but I figured out a way to work around it.
Yeah, I would really encourage everybody to get on to subscribe to the YouTube channel because it is so much fun. You get that email notification, there's a new video up, and it's always something fun. It's always I try
to do new videos every Wednesday. So
yeah, and let's take another little commercial break here right now. We're with Sarah Jane Woodall, Wonderhussy, Wonderhussy Adventures, Wonderhussy.com, Sarah Jane Woodall on Facebook. What about you're on Twitter, right?
Twitter, everything, Instagram, all of those things. I am Wonderhussy. That's WONDERHUSSY.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Hi, folks. Ronnie here from Life Change Tea. There's a lot of hubbub about the ramifications of GMOs. First of all, what are GMOs? Genetically modified organisms. Yee! Man-made organisms entering our body, changing and damaging us from the inside out. What's our defense? First of all, not eating them. Second, cleansing from them when we do eat them. Thank God for Life Change Tea at getthetea.com. Life Change Tea cleanses